Hi, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to Resolve the Unsolved Forum from Panacea eBiz Consulting Group. As we have started emerging slowly from the second COVID wave, businesses are not only opening up, they're trying to revive, they're trying to catch up with the lost opportunities. New businesses are emerging. Entrepreneurs are planning to restructure their operations or start and look at new avenues. That is what brings us to our topic today, emerging business opportunities post COVID. Now, business opportunity is a very wide subject, and opportunities of business is always a dynamic area. Irrespective of whether there is COVID or no COVID, in 21st century, every time entrepreneurs, business managers have to be on their toes to understand what are the next new opportunities or what are the new directions that business need to be steered on. Our context would be very specific to the current scenario, which we are referring to, and in most cases referred across the board commonly post-COVID scenario. So what are the business opportunities which emerges the moment we are looking forward to the second wave? Now, what is happening is very important to be observed. So it is not about COVID or post-COVID scenario. Digitization, which was already there, is transforming all kinds of business operations rapidly. Certain areas of focus are coming up with the current scenarios, maybe healthcare, maybe we have been talking about online education, which every home is experiencing. There's a very interesting things which are also developing in the market today. There's a whole lot of reconfiguration and restructuring of supply chains. In the last 30, 40 years, every organization, specifically manufacturing or post-manufacturing into distribution, there are supply chains which are involved. And during this last 1.5 years of COVID experience, every single company, not only in India, across the world, have experienced, I won't say disruptions, but various concerns and challenges in the supply chain. That is what has brought the management to discuss, rework on the supply chain. This is a very focused area. And there is an evolution of the trend of working from home or working from anywhere. So what we'll try to do in the short span of time which we have of 1 hour, we will try to focus our today's discussion around these 4 or 5 parameters and keep the focus on emerging businesses around these 3-4 parameters only. Everybody who is participating is most welcome to put in a query as we are discussing or post a query. We'll be happy to answer it. Or you can wait till the end of the session where we'll give an opportunity for a question and answer. Today, along with me, I'm Sandeep Ghosh here. I have Mr. Sanjay Sawhney. Sanjay, welcome to the platform. Mr. Goel, Ravinder Goel, I think would be joining us late because he is still out on some meeting. Mr. Sanjay Sawhney has a rich business development experience of more than 25 years plus. He has been driving and handling businesses across sectors, Before he took on to consulting and advising startups and new ventures out of Lucknow today, he has been spearheading into real estate operations. He has been anchoring into content and publishing space, into academics and education areas, and we look forward to him sharing his experiences in new opportunities area. To start off with, what we'll do is we'll try to keep our focus around digital transformation. And with digital transformation, we'll pick up the first area which seems to be emerging very, very strongly is in the training and education space. We'll spend some time on this before we go to the next emerging trend. Huge amount of transformations are happening. A lot of changes are happening. We have been interacting with various organizations at different levels who are into digital education delivery space. Sanjay, if I may request you to share with us your experiences and what do you feel are the emerging trends and opportunities in this specific area. Sanjay, please.
Yeah, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Before I jump on to any conclusion, let me allow me to highlight, some background of the state of affairs, that has emerged over a period of time. And the second wave has definitely created disruption in the market, and it has compelled, the corporates, the business sector, the business community as a whole to rethink their strategies, and the effect of the COVID on the lifestyle of the people or the habits of the people. It has made a very serious mark, the way we live we carry on our lifestyles. And definitely, since it has changed the lifestyles, it will definitely change the way we do the business. And not only do the business, but do everything, that we do in our life. So whether we study, our kids, how they study, how we shop, how we dress, how we entertain ourselves, how we earn. So everything has changed, the whole landscape has changed. And in this situation, there are definitely, as a consultant, we look for the opportunities where the opportunities are, and we try to exploit those opportunities. So to start with, just a brief, I would like to put it into it, the situation amidst the second wave, rather first wave, the things were taken very lightly. But after the second wave, the things have completely changed. There is also fear of third wave, which may storm anytime. And, the way people are moving out, definitely there is a fear. And it may or may not happen, God knows. But again, in this scenario, in this situation, three kind of situations have emerged. The one is, there are businesses, there is a lot of crisis. The businesses are completely in crisis.
Right.
And there is a tremendous opportunity, for the crisis management in those areas. And the second one is, I have categorized this situation, the situation which has emerged after the COVID-19, into three parts. So one is crisis. So crisis management is definitely one area which is in high demand. And, people are looking for mentors and professional hands, to overcome the crisis that the people have been facing around. The second one is, that the makeover of the existing business. Now, there are series of business, which were done the traditional way, and still they are doing the traditional way. And they need a makeover. Sure. Because now those businesses will definitely not move the way, they used to move earlier. And those businesses need, some makeover. And again, there is a demand for professionals, for makeover of the existing businesses. Definitely, digital transformation is a part of those makeover exercise. And here and after, that there will be a quantum shift from the traditional business to the online mode to the digital mode, whether it is B2C or B2B. So there is a demand, in the makeover of the existing business. And the third category is, since the situation has completely changed, there is a opportunity for the new businesses, that have emerged amidst this COVID-19. And, I have categorized all this, the opportunity which has emerged after it, into these categories: crisis management, makeover of the existing business, and opportunities for the new businesses, right? To start with, I will give a brief about what kind of crisis has emerged post-COVID. Is, that as we know, to summarize it very briefly, around 4.05 people have, died in India alone. Around 40 million people have died across the world. This is the data, as on today, as on date, we have with us. And there is a tsunami of death here. It has many business owners.
That's true. That's true.
Many corporate owners, they have the running businesses have come to an halt because the key persons in those businesses have died because of COVID-19. Because the deaths were, it was just, that like mosquitoes dying. So the way people died, one day we speak to a person, the second day, the third day, to know the person died. So amidst this, death of the key people, those businesses have landed into the crisis, right? Their families are now they're highly perplexed what to do next. And, either they are looking for getting the exit from the business, or get a fair value of the business, or merge the business with a large corporate or business house in the same area of operation, or, bring in the expertise of the professionals to run the business on behalf of the families. So there is a great scope, for the professionals either to bring in the interested parties in buying such business and further manage and grow the businesses, mergers and acquisitions, and acquire the management rights to run the business. So this is a great opportunity for the professionals to show their professional skills, in order to manage the crisis. Because this is the one area where the challenges lies. And apart from that, there are other kind of crises, which have emerged in the market. And those crises are like cash crunch, due to which the owners are unable to start the business, right? There are lack of knowledge and expertise to restart in a new environment. They do not know how to start. नहीं, मेरा तो एक बैंकेट हॉल बना हुआ है यहाँ पर, उसमें मेरा होटल बना हुआ, मुझे नहीं पता कि मैं अब उसको आगे कैसे चलाऊंगा. मेरे पास तो कस्टमर ही नहीं है. मैं तो कस्टमर का वेट कर रहा हूँ, and they are running huge overhead costs every day, and they are unable to start. So they do not have the lack of the knowledge and expertise to restart a new environment. And the third thing is, irrelevancy of the business in the new environment. Their business has become completely irrelevant, in the change environment. So again, in this kind of crisis, there are again challenges, either to bring a new business partner, venture funding, expertise to restart the business, sell the business or their assets in case of business has totally become redundant. Example of the above cases are commercial real estate. For example, co-working and office space, malls, food chains, restaurant and hotel and cinema halls, retail shops, large showrooms, private universities, professional colleges like engineering and management. They are in fix. There are many, I would believe, that apart from corporate, those who have the expertise, to change or adjust to the new environment, there is a large chunk of, unorganized sector. These people do not know what to do, how to restart, how I will driving, people to footfall into the malls, how the people will come to the cinema, they will storm to the cinemas.
Now, do you see, if I may interrupt, do you see edutech, as we are calling,
yeah,
or technology-based education picking up?
You see, sir, I'll come to the education part like this, I'll put it this way. If you look at, aggregators, the aggregators in the education technology space were already there. Like aggregators like Byju's, Unacademy, Vedantu, Topper, Doubtnet, etc. They have already disrupted the education market, way before the COVID had stormed the markets.
Right.
But again, after the whole scenario, these people have definitely grown in leaps and bounds, because now the target audience, they do not have any option but to shift. Earlier,
absolutely
right. Those people were those students, they were going to they had the option to go to the classroom mode of study, and take the education technology kind of tutoring or studies as an additional mode. But now the scene has completely changed. And that is why these aggregators have been able to grow their top line very smartly. And they have been able to grow their bottom line as well. And they will continue to do so because now the people have tasted they have experienced the online education and they have benefited greatly because they were sitting idle at home. So either students or professionals or any kind of student class, whether primary, secondary, higher education or professional class, they have immensely benefited out of it. There is no doubt about it. And these education technology companies, will continue to grow. However, there exists an opportunity, to add number of other areas into their portfolio, which were till date not touched by these kind of aggregators. Now, these kind of things emerging, vocational courses, those kind of things, language, and many other such areas which are unexplored, and definitely the aggregators still, because they will be taking the first mover advantage. So once they add to their portfolios these kind of emerging areas, definitely they will be able to grow their bottom line and top line very smartly.
Right.
On the other hand, I also feel that since these aggregators, and it is very surprising, I take it that way, that these aggregators, they did not have any background in the content, because all the content, that they are presenting to their target audience, it is all being borrowed content. They do not have their own content team. So the content is being completely borrowed. And surprisingly, these people, after borrowing the content, have been able to grow very smartly and storm the market and gain a very large share of the market pie. But again, there are existing biggies in the market, in primary, secondary, or higher education. Big names, like I would say DPS, PJ, Goenkas, they continued in the same traditional manner. And they continued with the classroom model of the business, And since till date, since these institutions could not capitalize on their strength and did not adapt to the new technology, they are left behind. And now they are facing the consequences.
Because now what might happen, you're right.
Yeah.
Every form may not change, but people who are looking at opportunities now and want to use the technology, there is a new opportunity which is emerging in training, delivering knowledge, education across the globe. There is not only a trend, there is a big opportunity because it is helping people and companies, as Sanjay, you rightly pointed out, the top line and bottom line, we are used to a model called a physical infrastructure, which we call brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So everybody has to come into a common place, but there are a lot of vocational courses, there are a lot of programs. Yes, we are human, we need a social impact. Correct. But with technology coming in, we today see, like I met 3 days back, 2 companies I was sharing with you online.
Yeah.
They are investing, they have been into different areas. They are investing in 2 big areas. One is healthcare, which we'll come to later, but in education. Across the globe. We have got requirements also where companies have intimated that we want to spend 75 crores, 80 crores worth of acquisitions in trying to find out companies who has a technology platform on which we can build further. So without doubt, technology-based education is an emerging area, which I'm sure, Sanjay, you also too feel that could be a very, very focused area, right?
Yes.
Now, please.
So coming to that, I would say that the technology platform is one area, right? The content is other area, and the brand acceptance, the acceptance in the market also needs to be there. The like we say, the trust, that the education that I am getting is either certified, or it will get me a job, or it will enhance my knowledge or value, or it will give me the health and wellness, if that is a field, definitely. But again, I feel there is an existence, there is an opportunity for these brands like DPS, like a PJ, like Goenka, to adopt through the cutting edge technology and better capacity utilization, you know, a blend of online in a classroom kind of model, which will definitely, these companies can capitalize on their very, very long standing in the market, and they can come out and they can take on these aggregators.
Very much.
Any aggregator getting into this kind of field, because since the market has already been captured by the large players, so anyone who enters into the market, with another some idea of wellness or something like that, they will be me too companies in the market, and they will definitely find it very tough, to gain the market share. But if this kind of model of the branded schools, which have a very long standard in the market, branded universities like Amity University, they are very renowned universities in India. Similarly, there are an array of names, which are there in the market. And if a blended model is launched by these existing brands in the market and they change the makeover in the second classification, I believe, that those kind of models will definitely be very, very profitable business ventures, and they will be able to take on the aggregators very seriously. Now, in order to take on the aggregators, there should be some differentiation.
If I may request, we will spend some time on the aggregator, because you pointed out to a very, very important term called aggregator.
Right.
And before we go to the aggregator, as we're talking about education, let's quickly spend some time on another good opportunity which is emerging, which is healthcare and wellness, which we talked about.
Sure.
And maybe after we talk about this opportunity coming up, aggregator will be a good area to talk about before we talk about the third opportunity or the fourth opportunity, right?
Sure.
Now, as education or edutech is an expanding area and a lot of investments are coming, along with that, today there's a lot of focus on healthcare and the need to use technology also in healthcare, but healthcare seems to be a well emerging space. Wellness and healthcare are being talked about together today, right, Sanjay?
Right.
Now, not only that, if we talk about healthcare, there are different segments which has emerged. One is the healthcare which we understand, going and meeting a health professional, a doctor, a physician, understanding and getting ourselves taken care of. We are talking about consulting. Now doctors or physicians or people are available online. I don't have to go across. So telemedicine is coming up. I met a group 2 days back, which I was mentioning, investing heavily in telecommunication, telemedicine, and that too with the support of government and state governments, which is there. I'm speaking up. Another area along with this is also supporting the aged people, the wellness. Right. I was reading some data, I was surprised. By another 15 to 20 years, people beyond 90 is going to increase 10 times.
Oh, great.
I was surprised with the data globally. So that means special services which could take care of them at home without moving out from there. So there's a huge segment of health and wellness, which is a big business opportunity. When we say business opportunity, providing good services, and the market is coming out with different opportunities within that. As I mentioned about that. And I know about 2-3 new startups in small towns which are only focusing on health and supporting the aged people. Right. Because today the joint family structure has moved out.
Right.
People who have retired and who are beyond 70, 75 need support.
Right.
Because they are not comfortable with the latest technology. Most of the time they're not comfortable with online. They need somebody to talk to, interact with, shopping. So that is the area which is growing. Check it. Telemedicine is going up. Different medical services are growing up. So this seems to be and is a no doubt business opportunity space.
Undoubtedly.
Sanjay, what is your thought? Like, you have been interacting both at the infrastructure side, so you know a lot of infrastructures which are coming up in this. At the same time, technology also. So please add your point.
Done. So I would definitely, health and wellness is definitely an upcoming area, and there is no doubt about it. And surprisingly, in this area, the aggregators are yet to storm the market. And there are people, and there are venture capitalists and the finest brains, they are working upon it. So how to replicate the success of other aggregators in other fields into the health and wellness areas.
Right.
So far, we have hardly seen, that any very smart kind of, like, I would say, the first aggregator in India was, this Ola and those kind of cabs, that they started. The aggregation actually came into the various segments of the market, through these kind of ideas.
Right.
So far, in the health and wellness space, number one, there are very established brands which are there into the market. Like in eye care, we know that VLCC is a very, very known name. And similarly, there are many into this kind of market. But again, what I feel is that through technology applications and through adopting to a model, which is reliable, which is acceptable to the people. Since, definitely with allopathic treatments and those kind of treatments, people are now looking beyond those kind of health and wellness benefits, that they can arrive. What I believe, that Ayurveda, after the government has established another Ayush Mantralaya, Ayush Ministry, I believe that the aggregators have tremendous opportunity to leverage the Ayurveda treatment, wonderful products into the Ayurveda market, and preventive to start teaching the people, the preventive measures to take, not to fall ill, live longer, live natural, and there are array of, हम लोग बोलते हैं ना उसको जड़ी बूटियां और वो सब जो Ayurvedic kind of treatment, the education in the Ayurvedic remedial market, and bringing in, those kind of established players in the market, established name into the market, tying up, with some kind of very renowned brand in the market, which has a very, like, if I look at, like companies like Dabur, Baidyanath, there are many companies. They could not capitalize on this kind of market, which are immersed in this kind of scenario.
You're right.
They played very narrow on the syrup bana diya. They started calling their all products, immunity products. But again, the bigger picture, they could not play upon the bigger picture which has emerged into the market. If you look at the whole of the scenario from March 2020 to till date, people were taking Kala, right? And those kind of Ayurvedic treatment to get all right by sitting at home. But no aggregator came into the place, exploiting this area of Ayurveda as a big opportunity, which is again a part of the health and wellness sector. Blending it with yoga, blending with this kind of our, traditional way of living and treatments. I believe, that this is the area the aggregator can definitely leverage upon it, create a different product differentiation in the market, and, storm the market in a very, very big manner. So this area is definitely, I believe, I can do wonders, and it will definitely be a game changer in the market, and it will not be very easy for the competitors, to venture into this kind of market.
You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because I will bring in a context over here, Sanjay.
Sir.
You might be aware, and we are aware of. You mentioned very important points at the beginning also. I recall that.
Yeah.
Bottom line, top line, and restructuring of the business.
Right.
When we have restructuring and revisiting of business, it's very, very important. We know where hospitals are saying we are not able to make money. I want to sell out. There are.
Yeah.
There are a lot of medical services which are not able to meet bottom line. The only reason is they are also not planning to change or transit.
Exactly.
The business models have come out.
Exactly.
And that is why I chose to keep the word aggregator for a later discussion, which will come to in 2-3 minutes. So
Yes.
important factor is what we mentioned at the beginning, using of technology, finding of ways to connect. Medical services need not be only a physical structure where thousands of patients will come, get treated and go out. I will make my business. No, I may have to reach out because COVID has shown that a lot of people may not be comfortable coming to my nursing home or to my hospital.
Exactly, sir.
But is there a way to consult them online?
Right.
Is there a way to interact with them? During the last, it is not only interacting, there are different avenues, different ways to reach out to my customers who can be patients, where I can provide a lot of services, where I can use technology. And as Sanjay, you have been consistently mentioning, restructuring of the business and looking at who are this aggregator through whom I can reach out.
Very
Or if there are no aggregators, can I become an aggregator?
right, sir. Very
A new business opportunity exists. Is very important to understand when we are talking about medical services at this stage, wellness as such, and as you pointed out, the other form of medicines like Ayurveda and others, along with allopathy, does brings in a lot of value to it.
Yes.
So where are these aggregators?
Yeah.
So becoming an aggregator, trying to help these services to reach out to the masses is a big business opportunity.
Definitely.
Like Amazon.
Definitely, sir. Definitely.
Okay. Like Airbnb. So what are they? They are aggregators.
Yes.
So instead of waiting, there's an opportunity for people to come in and take it up and move from there. Keeping this discussion on, Sanjay, I would like to attract your attention to this word which I kept postponing, aggregator.
Right.
Okay. Now, with aggregator, I will bring in something. So, as we have been talking about new opportunities, we have mentioned very clearly our focus is technology. We have mentioned there's a big opportunity in all spheres of education, starting from coaching, primary education to higher education, to corporate education, to look at a different delivery model using technology. We have been talking about opportunities in terms of healthcare and wellness, but looking at delivering it in a different mode, different services coming out.
Right.
Coming on to aggregator, e-commerce, and supply chain. Let's look at it together. So I mentioned three words: aggregator, e-commerce, and supply chain.
Right.
There's nothing different. When we use this, there has to be a common place where services can be aggregated and provided.
Yeah.
Okay. So as a new business opportunity, I'm combining aggregators, e-commerce, and the supply chain together.
Right.
And bringing in a word called aggregator, which we have been talking about, is aggregator in itself a new business opportunity?
Yeah, definitely. No doubt it's a no. You see, many times it happens, that the so-called aggregators, which are backed up by the venture capital funds, they try to replicate a model which has already made a success in the market.
Yes.
Right. So replicating a model in a different area on the same ways and means, through which an aggregator has already got a success.
Right.
This idea might or might not work, as the chances of success of the replicating model is all the time, say, 50-50.
True.
Unless and until there is a product differentiation or there is some kind of differentiation in the product and the services, the market cannot be stormed very, very smartly. Like, say, for example, I'll tell you, like there is a company called Integrated Mesh, which has a site where the wholesalers and the business owners can list their products.
Sure.
Right? Their product, just dial kind of thing, Sulekha kind of thing. When they stormed the market, definitely it was a very, very success. They met with a great success in the market. But the subsequent players, when they got into the market, they met with a little success. And their top line, and the bottom line grew very, very, with a very shallow kind of growth. And they could not become big giants, big daddies, like Ola and those kind of companies they had become,
Right.
right? So definitely there's an opportunity to play upon something which is very different in the market. Like, say, for example, as you rightly said, that supply chain.
Yes.
And supply chain, it is the biggest challenge for any e-commerce or a delivery-based business. Supply chain is the major challenge, that how they will meet those kind of challenges, right? And not only for the e-commerce people, but even, for the people, those who have great supply chains, they have managed supply chains, have grown, in leaps and bounds. Say, for example, Amul, a cooperative, company could grow in leaps and bounds only through the smart management of the supply chain, that their product could reach any nook and corner of the country. The same kind of challenges are being faced by the online existing players in the market, like Amazon and those kind of things. And if you look at it, their cost of say fixed costs, for managing go downs, for managing a large force of delivery boys, managing a large supply chain company, right? It has, and Amazon and Flipkart, they never made money. If you look at their top line and bottom line, they could grow their top line, but they always registered losses, going forward, and they could not make the kind of money which were anticipated that they will make. So similar kind of players, those who replicated those models like Snapdeal, like Infibeam, those are the kind of companies failed miserably, right? Now, uh, on the contrary, if you look at Big Bazaar, they are coming from the brick and mortar to now they are adopting to the blended model. They
Yes.
are also running online physical stores. They are also launched their portals, to order online. Now I'm talking about, where the opportunity lies now. Now the opportunities for the technology aggregators, definitely lies in the areas which will adopt to a different model. So the different model could be, an integrated model. Like physical chain of stores, can develop an integrated online model whereby the
Yes.
delivery is made from the nearest store. Say, for example, Bata. So Bata can integrate all its physical stores online and can deliver from the nearest store instead of establishing a different supply chain. There is no need
Yes.
for those people. Like I have at my place, through pin code, which is the nearest store, definitely the product can get supplied through those stores. This will benefit those companies two ways. Number one is their cost of operations will come down. Their customer base will increase substantially,
Yes.
and their physical stores will become viable. They will start running in the profit, right? Similarly, like courier services, they can do both the delivery and the pickup from the nearest available outlet. I still see, like in this lockdown, the Blue Dot people, and the DTDC people, they never bothered to collect the product right from the customer's place. They still wanted to go the traditional mode कि भैया आपको courier भेजना है, you have to come to, you look my office, come to my office. I will not come to you. So similarly, those kind of businesses which already have a huge establishment, huge retail outlet, huge kind of, they already have supplied, they already have established supply chains. They have to exploit. So these kind of integrated models, and similarly, if you look at the Geo Money, the Geo system, they are working on the same line. And they are planning something very, very big, as they try to integrate, more than, say, 1 crore small retailers to that platform. And through which, whatever they want to sell, that the product will be delivered through the nearest shop which is available to you.
Very, very important what you have mentioned. Because see, when we talk about new businesses, as Sanjay, you rightly pointed out, it need not be completely always new.
Yeah.
The delivery of services and the way we present the services can create a new business model in itself.
Definitely, sir, definitely.
And
I can also, point out there are other areas like this, like say, for example, automobile servicing.
yes,
Maruti has a huge network of, service stations across India at remote locations and those kind of locations. But again, they never adopted to a model, whereby which they will create an online portal. Like any person wants to get his car serviced through Maruti outlet, he will log into the Maruti website log in or download an app, and his car will be picked up, serviced, and delivered. This is again definitely a model, which is a fantastic model, and the companies can change and adopt to these kind of models. And if the companies are not ready, aggregators can get into this field and can get this job done. So there is a huge opportunity, on the same model, and exploiting the existing supply chain which is already there in the market instead of creating a new supply chain.
And a lot of new business opportunities are emerging in this space. As I was talking to you yesterday, in the pharma sector, which realized during the peak COVID times to manufacture certain kinds, the raw material was not available because they depended on the supply from a far off locations, maybe China or other places. And they were stuck. Companies in all your regions, everybody's region, are now looking at supply of resources or raw materials, which is their inputs from local area or nearby area also. So that in the future, what happens is, if in such crisis, the company is not suffering. A lot of businesses had to close down, not because their product were not selling, they closed down because their supply chains or their other vendors could not meet their requirements during this period. So what is happening is, as entrepreneurs, we have to be alive to our surrounding environments. Manufacturers see what are the local requirements. Can I fulfill those requirements? Can I become an aggregator? Can I link technology with it? See, business has been not blind sitting on the table and doing some things. We are giving you ideas today. So we see these ideas fructifying. We see these ideas being funded. There are venture funding and incubators who are saying, if you have a good technology-enabled ideas, be very clear. Without technology, investment is not coming anywhere. People know that if you are not technology-enabled or your business is not technology-enabled, it is not a future prospective business.
Right.
So that is a space which needs to be. Along with that, when we say e-commerce is an opportunity. So anything which I'm doing digitally or over the phone or using the internet is e-commerce anyway.
Right.
So when I am into an e-commerce, I can be an aggregator. Aggregator means very simple. At my own common platform, various services and products are available. Right, Sanjay?
Right, very right.
I act as a virtual pool of providing various aggregation to my customers, which I can support. Similarly, I can be a pure play e-commerce platform where I'm providing select items, whatever I am manufacturing or providing it out. So setting up an e-commerce platform, even today, delivering services like recruitment, which we are also working on, is completely going online.
Right.
Building online accounting services, they are going online.
Right.
Professional services like legal, they are going online. So one simple thing is, I may not be a lawyer, but I can come out with an innovative legal platform.
Right.
Which can be an aggregator inform to provide services and information to people who are looking for, and I can rope in and tie up a lot of legal experts, well known or lesser known, or people who are practicing, who can come online and provide services.
Right.
So aggregator is an opportunity in all sphere of services which are available.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
Right. True.
Okay.
True.
Any other point which, Sanjay, you would like to point out? We touched upon education, we touched upon health and wellness, we discussed about aggregation, e-commerce as such. Any other points in the limited time which we have you would like to point out?
In education space, definitely I was trying out with an idea, and I had seen, while the aggregators and the traditional schooling model follow the traditional CBSE board for the primary educations, like all the aggregators, they are following CBSE, but the CBSE or ICSE. other than this, they do not follow any kind of, syllabuses or any kind of board. But there are huge number of boards, like there are state boards,
Right.
which are high in demand, right? There, the number of enrollments are great there.
Right.
So I believe, that the aggregators, again, the second wave of the people, second generation of aggregators, can try into these kind of state boards, for education purposes.
True.
Number one. Number two is, as this will be a game changer, it will be definitely a market which is not being eaten away by the present aggregators in the market. So new people will be able to definitely exploit upon.
True.
There is another opportunity, that NIOS, the National Open School, which is equally acceptable and equivalent to the CBSE.
Yes, it is. It is.
It has been never touched by any aggregator. Their syllabuses, and they have everything with them. They have all these streams of education with them. Aggregators getting into this, and this is more viable in the sense, that aggregators, still those who are teaching CBSE syllabus, the person has to go to the attend school, and get a certification from the school through the CBSE board. But in NIOS, the students are not required to attend to the school, and they can get their all primary education, this primary and secondary education, and get a certification if these kind of aggregators can venture into these kind of areas. So these are the new areas, which can be ventured into, like NIOS and the state boards. So I feel there is a great opportunity into this area. In real estate, I feel that there is a great scope for the managed office spaces, like we call co-working spaces. Now since everybody wants to avoid
very important
heavy rentals, but again, what I could see, that the managed office spaces have been unable to, leverage upon this kind of latent demand which is being created in the market. So again, with improved services, with add-ons, these kind of managed space, office space companies and the aggregators have, this is untapped area for the aggregators.
Very much.
So huge office space in co-working and otherwise is lying idle. And those spaces can be converted into co-working spaces, and aggregators can venture into it. Like if a person wants an office, 2-seater, 3-seater, 5-seater, 10-seater, it is available just within a period of 5 minutes. Right? This is a great area, and definitely a lot of investment can come into this. So these kind of new ideas which are there in the market, and the list is very, very long.
So these have been practiced by even 5-star properties today.
Yeah.
Utilizing a part of the property for managed office spaces.
Yes, sir.
For providing certain services like meetings, which are there. Okay, so these things are all possible, which have been worked out. Now,
yes, sir.
What happens is, see, take for example, today, because in the limited time of 1 hour, in such a wide subject, we can only be focusing on certain important points only.
Yes, sir.
Now, what we'll try to do is, today we kept our focus around education, edutech. We kept our focus on to health and wellness. We talked about e-commerce and aggregator as such. Now, within each of them, each of these 3 areas which we talked about, there are hundreds of different business models which could be worked out, and different services. It is not one.
Yeah.
If I'm talking about education, starting from nursery to corporate education, there can be different segments, there can be different fields enabled by technology support, which are being coined, designed, and is an opportunity.
Very right.
It is not necessary that you have to have a physical college to run the show.
Online university.
Very right. Immediately, if we get into medical services, becoming an aggregator of services, taking care of wellness in the aged section, launching a wellness platform or services using allopathy medicine, mix of your homeopath or Ayurveda or Unani, creates an opportunity.
Yes.
Reaching out to people is another business model.
Very
which is there. Becoming an aggregator of the services is another business in itself.
very right.
As we get into different space, as Sanjay, you rightly mentioned and pointed out, from servicing of a vehicle to delivering of different products and services, as we talked about providing local services to manufacturers, getting into the space of supply chain, are new avenues coming up, which is there.
Right.
Anybody who will be seeing and going through our video later on also can write to us or call us up. Specific to your requirement, we can give you specific ideas. Because this is not a platform where we can talk about a specific business model. So we are talking about the generic areas. Going forward to the conclusion, we will be having a similar session on new business opportunities very soon, where we will be focusing on waste as a business opportunity in a detailed discussion, which is there. We could not cover it as such because we focused around technology, we focused around aggregator, we focused around health and wellness. Sanjay, anything else which you would like to share before we try and conclude?
I would like to say to my all target audience, that definitely a lot of new ideas are cropping up every day. The new opportunities have been created. And as professionals, we always look for the opportunities in the troubled areas.
Right.
Opportunity lies only in the trouble. Where there are challenges, there are opportunities. There is no doubt about it. And hence, all the business houses, the businesses, if they are looking for a very professional hand, they want an expertise, they want to rake in us, in order to manage the crisis or to manage or make over the existing business or want to work upon the new ideas, new businesses, definitely they can get in touch with you and they can, initiate the first round of discussion in order to, streamline their business.
Sure. Thanks, Sanjay.